All right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I want to begin by giving all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Kwakadash, that belongs to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Well, peace, blessings, salutations to the for elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to His truth with heart sincerity. All right, may the blessed election be upon your houses. All right, the title topic of this lesson is going to be on this documentary that I was watching. It's called, I believe it's called The Greatest Warriors of History. All right. And this is actually season 1, episode 7, right? And this one's on the samurai, right? And this was towards the latter end of this documentary, and this is what inspired this lesson, because it shows you when Esau Edom, right, came over to Japan, and how they were moving. Okay. But nevertheless, I'm going to play this clip. All right. Just to let it get straight to the point. All right. Little one, this is edifying to your elect.
Lands. And every generation, that land fractures. This means the samurai get poorer and poorer and poorer.
There are disputes over succession in the Tokugawa house itself. And then there's the arrival of Westerners in the seas around Japan.
In 1854, one of those Westerners is American Commodore Matthew C. Perry. It's his second trip to Japan, and he arrives in Tokyo Bay with a fleet of 4 steam-powered warships.
Matthew Perry's fleet of battleships has the Japanese terrified. They actually call them the Black Ships. And there's something the Japanese have never seen before.
Hey, and another thing too, right, is every time Esau Edom, right, they go to one of these other nations, one of these other countries, right, they always go flexing their military might, their military force. Because keep in mind, this is, back, in the age of when they had samurais and so forth, man. So they didn't have these type of technology or weaponry, man, right? Hence why they said they were terrified. Right. But listen to what he does and says when he gets there.
If anything symbolizes the onslaught of the modern world, this is it.
The time is ripe. Commodore Perry, he says, open up or we'll open fire.
Right. And what he basically telling them, open up or we'll open fire. And when he said that, it kind of remind me of what's going on right now with Iran and Babylon, right? Because Babylon telling Iran, hey, open up the Strait of Hormuz, all right, or we gonna open it up for you. And that's that same spirit that we see here right now in this clip, right? They're telling, hey, open up, or we gonna open up for you, man. We gonna shoot, man.
Samurai go to war with themselves. Those who want to go forward and follow central samurai old power, or the new way of a modern government.
Perry essentially forces the shogun and his advisors to sign a treaty that opens up Japan to other commercial treaties with European countries.
Matthew Perry writes in his journal, I have opened Japan.
It signals a turning point for the samurai.
The samurai are essentially wiped out in 1877 when the last samurai rebellion against the new modern government is crushed by young samurai who see the possibilities of a modernized Japan and take it upon themselves to remove their own ruling class to create that modern Japan.
There are a series of laws that essentially ban samurai culture for all intents and purposes. You can no longer carry swords in public. Samurai are essentially given retirement stipends, and for the most part, they are kept out of local governorship and local government.
Right. So that's what we see right there. Right. What happened when Esau Edom came to Japan, man, right? In the age of samurai, ultimately what? The samurai got done away with. A lot of them got put to death, right? They had to forfeit their swords. They had to basically, go with the ideology and the ways of life of the westernized civilization, right? Of Esau, Edom, man, right? Their government, their ways of life, and that's what they do. Every time these devils go to another nation, another country, what do? They implement their ways of life, man. They basically are a cancer on the planet Earth, man. Everywhere they go, they have to have their way, man. And if you're not with their way, they're gonna have a lot of bloodshed, man. Right? They got the saying, my way or the highway, and that's how these devils was moving when they got there. He said, hey, either you gonna open up or we gonna shoot, right? Or we gonna open this up for you, man. Right? And it said what? Force them to sign a treaty. And we know these devils don't keep their treaties, man. Look what they've done with Gad and Reuben, man. Right? They've broken every single treaty that they've made, man. Right? That's why you cannot trust these devils, man. That's how they move, man. Right? That's genuinely how they move. Right? And this is called the History's Greatest Warriors, man. This is season 1, episode 7, man. All right. But this is Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter, verse 5, and it reads, yeah, also because he transgresseth by wine, he is a proud man, right? Esau, Edom is one of the proudest that you have seen on the planet Earth, man. They're very puffed up, man. They believe that they are unstoppable, untouchable, man. They think they're gods, man. All right. Neither keep it at home, right? These devils, they love going to all these various nations. They love putting up their U.S. military bases, their what do they call them? The embassies. All right, right? That's how these devils move, man. Right? Who enlarge his desire is hell and as death and cannot be satisfied, but gather unto him all nations and heapeth unto him all people, right? So these devils, man, no matter how much they conquer, no matter how much bloodshed they have, no matter, where they go and set up their military bases and push their philosophies and their ways of life and set up their embassies and so forth, they're not satisfied with that, man. Right? They're not satisfied with that. This is Genesis 4:12. It reads, when thou tillest the ground, it shall not henceforth yield unto thee her strength. A fugitive and a vagabond shall thou be in the earth. And that's exactly who and what Esau Edom is, man. A fugitive and a vagabond. When you go into that word vagabond, that's a wanderer, man. Right? Going from place to place. And that's what Esau Edom does, man. Right? They're not satisfied or content with what they have already, man. Right? They want to have that complete control. Okay. And that's ultimately going to lead them to their demise, lead them to the downfall, man. All right. And we already see this place circling the drain day by day, man. All right. Getting closer and closer to its end. Okay. This is Sirach 12:10. Never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness, man. All right, that's why, again, we've seen the track record of these devils throughout history. Throughout history, it showed us to not trust these devils. These devils cannot be trusted, man. Because anytime that you are not in agreement with what these devils want, what do? They attack. They try to put you to death, right? They rape, they rob, they murder. They're truly a criminal. All right, a serial criminal on the planet Earth, man. A habitual criminal on the planet Earth, man. Right? But yet people are still trusting these devils, thinking that this is their friend, thinking that they can be peaceable with these devils. They can't, because it's not in them, man. Right? They are truly programmed to be wicked, to rape, to rob, to murder, to steal. Right? That is what these devils do. That is inherently within them. All right. That is a hereditary trait that all these devils have, man. Right. Look at their track record. Look at what we just seen on that clip, man. Right. You already knew from the gate, from the jump, the moment of their arrival, they were not coming peaceably, man. They came with steam powered military ships. All right. And they said, hey, either you going to open up to allow trade and import export with European countries, or we gonna shoot and open it up for you, man. Right? They gave basically an option. It was an ultimatum they gave them. They said, hey, either you gonna lay down or you gonna get down or you gonna get laid down, man. Right? And that's the mindset of these average devils, man. Right? The average Edomite, if they don't get their way, their next option is what? Slaughter. right? They're very bloodthirsty, man. Their trigger finger, their trigger finger is itching, is happy, right? They're itching to shed blood, man, right? Without hesitation, right? And keep in mind, this is around the time when, guns were being introduced, right? And samurai, all they had was swords, man. Some of them did have guns at the time from, previous import and export. But think about the type of military force they're coming with, man. They were still, having boats and ships that they had to manually paddle. They come in with steam powered ships and in a artillery, man, arsenal of different guns and weapons, man. Right? And ultimately what it said, they basically forced their hands to sign a treaty to open it up, man, and then start pushing out their philosophies, pushing out, a government, a westernized government the way that they have it, man. And they had no choice but to get down with the program, right? Jumping down in Ecclesiastes 12 to verse 16, it reads, "An enemy speaketh sweetly with his lips." Right, that is one of these devils' skills right there, right? Speaking sweetly, right? One of the great things to watch to really see how these devils have those smooth words. They speak very sweet. All right, I always say this is to watch politicians, man. Listen to how a politician talk, right? Whenever you see those presidential campaigns, right? You see those political advertisements, right? You see those conventions, those speeches, right? Those interviews and so forth. Listen to how these devils talk, man. Right? They talk in circles, man. They talk like a snake. All right. Continuing on, it says, "But in his heart, he imagined how to throw thee into a pit. He will weep with his eyes. But if he find opportunity, he would not be satisfied with blood." All right. So inwardly, these devils are thinking of ways to get over on you, ways to bring harm to you, ways to put you to death, man. All right. They gonna boo-hoo cry. They're master manipulators, master actors. They'll cry and make it seem as if, they're her or they're sad or they're your friend. But whole time in the back of their mind, they're trying to find that weak point, all right, to attack. That's how these devils move, man. Right? We've seen that with Christopher Columbus when he came to the Americas, right? Right? He came as if he was peaceable, right? As if he was befriending, right, the Gadites and the Reubenites, right, saying he had gifts of those blankets, right? Whole time those blankets had disease in it, man. Right? It was welcomed with open arms and treated properly. Whole time, he's like, "Yeah, we got gifts for y'all." Whole time it was blankets filled with diseases to put them to death, man. Same thing we seen with the oh, what is it called, man? When they were giving out syphilis to Jake, man. The Tuscan, I forgot how it's pronounced. But it was a time, I believe it was back in either the 50s, 60s, maybe 70s. In that, time period, where they were, getting Jake and telling them in the guise of medical stuff or whatever, and they were injecting them with diseases, man. Right? Tuskegee, right? I believe that's what it's called, Tuskegee air trials, if I'm not mistaken, man. Right? But that just goes to show you how these devils move and why you can never trust these devils, man. Right? Everywhere they go, everywhere they plant their foot, they do nothing but wickedness. They bring nothing but death. They bring nothing but destruction, nothing but confusion, man. And we see this throughout their track record, throughout history. But yet, Jake still trusts these devils. Jake still want to befriend these devils, man. Think that is their friend whole time. That is your natural born enemy from the womb. From the womb, that's been your natural born enemy, man. Right? But hey, I'm going to wrap it up with that. Lord willing, this was edifying to the elect of Israel. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakwakadash, that belongs to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone from the well. Peace, blessings, salutations to those elect that is out there pushing, laboring, believing, and listening on to this truth with our sincerity. Until next time, shalom, and a ball, Kwame Yasharallah, shalom.